Hello, good evening. I hope everybody has had or is having a good Friday. I intended to be able to do this a little bit earlier in the day today, but unfortunately it wasn't able to happen. So I'm here now. Hopefully everybody got a little bit of a heads up. I tried to push it out a little bit so people who wanted to be here could be here. I want to also go over a couple of ground rules. I know I have kind of received new subscribers, I'm assuming, from my video talking about msashycat. And I just want people who maybe are new to my channel to understand that we need to be respectful. I don't mind if you're voicing your concerns or your opinions or talking about things that you say that you see, but just be mindful in how you are typing that in the live chat. I really don't like to monitor my chat heavily to where like people are being muted or blocked, because I like everybody to be heard. But at the same time, we don't need to send hate. We don't need to be harassing. We can talk about it and have a good conversation and voice our concerns and talk about behaviors that we see and why it's concerning. We can even go the route of what there may be to do for intervention, but I don't want anything to be hateful or anything that may be triggering to others who may be watching or watching the replay. So let's just keep that on the forefront as we have this conversation. I'm going to go ahead and, if you're new here, I'm going to say hi to everybody. And then I want this to kind of be like literally a discussion amongst me and you guys along the lines of what kind of things you see, what is concerning to you. Try not to put any labels, like derogatory labels on what you're seeing. That does no good. It kind of shows a little bit of hate and resentment to me. We can talk about addiction and people who are in active addiction in a respectful way, and I would please ask that everybody maintain that thought while we have this discussion. So I'm going to start off with saying hi to everyone. I appreciate everybody who is being here. Hello, Kim. Hello, Amy. Hey, it's just chat. Hey, Bambi. Hey, Robin. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Claire. Hey, Leslie. Hey, E. Hey, Christine. I'm not ever sure if I pronounced your name correctly or not. And I'll say hi as people come in and I see you guys joining in the conversation. I know a couple of you had kind of already started to talk a little bit, so I am going to start at the front of the chat. If you're new here, I kind of try to maintain having everybody included. So I do get behind in the chat. Just be mindful of that for me. So a couple of people were mentioning that I have dislikes. You know, that doesn't really bother me. I know some creators kind of get hung up on their like to dislike ratio, and it is what it is. People aren't happy that people discuss her or voice their concerns. People don't want the concerns to be known. And I can kind of understand why, but it does nothing at the end of the day. So I don't mind if people come and downvote my video. It doesn't do anything to me. It's their opinion and they're open to have one just like we are. It's just chat. You asked, what is the best thing when a person doesn't want help? If we watch her, does it helps her in some way? Should we not watch her? I am kind of on that fence. As far as somebody not wanting help, the best that we can do is be supportive and just bring awareness to it and make sure that people who are vulnerable understand what's happening. And some people are saying that that's triggering, that people are discussing her, but I personally don't see it that way. I see as it's an unfortunate situation, and bringing awareness to it for people who are maybe naive or don't know what it looks like, don't know how it can impact your life and how bad behavior escalates when you're in addiction. I think it's kind of a two-off. It is unfortunate. It's a very scary situation. And watching her does promote her videos. If you're watching her live, you're not necessarily putting money in her pocket if it's live unless you're donating, because if you're watching the replay, that's when AdSense are put onto videos. But when videos are live like this right now, I'm not making any money while we're live unless somebody donates or super chats But aside from that, in the replays, when ads are placed on videos, that's when the revenue starts to come in. The more views that a video has, it does push it into the algorithm. So that would, watching her live does, in fact, push her video out. So I am on the stance of, if she's not live, I'm not going to watch her content on the replay. I have watched a couple of her live while she is live. But aside from that, I don't watch her replays. I don't watch her TikToks. Unfortunately, there are a lot, it's kind of unfortunate and fortunate at the same time. There are people who are screen recording her things and downloading her content to allow people who don't catch it live to be able to see the behaviors and the things that are going on. And I'm going to be completely honest, some people are doing it and I don't think it is in a healthy way, and I don't think they have a malicious intent with it, but I've seen some TikToks, it's more on TikTok than YouTube, where it seems people are kind of not, in my opinion, going about it the best way. But absolutely, and it seems several of you guys also agree that watching her content is probably not the best way to go about it. Yeah, Bambi, I understand that. If you feel that you have anything to bring to the conversation, I definitely would encourage people to have conversations. I saw a lot of Tara's videos and I kind of was in the same mindset, like, well, somebody's covering it. Is it worth me also covering? The reality is, Tara, I love her content, I love her delivery, but she has a different experience in talking about this than I do. I have a totally different experience with this topic on a multitude of levels. And so I think I can bring something different to the discussion than what she brings. And that's why I actually talked to Tara about wanting to think about making a video, and she was very supportive and she understood. And nobody can gatekeep on anything. If you have an opinion and you're trying to bring awareness and educate and help inform your audience, I don't think it's a bad thing, but just be mindful of boundaries. You don't want to cross too many boundaries. Andrea asks, are people just seeing her? I think so. I honestly think as she is going further and further into this and being more and more concerning, and her patterns are kind of getting worse and worse, more people are talking about it, which is bringing more attention to it. So I think she kind of was in the background for a little bit, but it's getting to a point where a lot of people who are seeing it, they've kind of watched her deteriorate into what we're all seeing as addiction. And it's important to identify that. And I think that's why a lot of people are starting to pay more attention. I know she's been on TikTok for a long time. And I briefly mentioned in my video, I came across her a while ago. And I saw some patterns that were concerning, and I was weird about covering cross platforms. I don't know why, but I was weird about discussing it. And it wasn't to the extent it is now. And so I just kind of let it go. And I'm not a huge avid TikTok watcher. So I recently have started to be more of a consumer of TikTok content. And she's popped up on my For You page quite a bit. And it's just gotten to a point where it was shocking for me. Hey, Amy, you like my opinions about all of these people coming out with savior complexes now just because you notice some people with these yeah, and I understand. I think for some people, when they're talking about this, they feel like they don't want to be judged harshly for giving their opinion or voicing their concerns. So they want to bring a caveat of, I can help her, I can help her. And the unfortunate side is we can only be there to support her when she is ready. And I know a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people who are maybe naive or not fully understanding of how addiction works, you can't force anyone unless you are being bound by the courts and you're given an ultimatum by your judicial system. You really aren't probably going to see action into recovery until that person wants it. Whoops, my chat just jumped. Sorry, that happens occasionally. Hey, Dina, good to see you. Hey, Janelle. Yeah, last night's live was extremely scary. I've seen bits and pieces because I didn't catch it live, but it is, from the parts that I have seen, it's just mind-boggling. Honestly, it really is. Yeah, Sue, a lot of people are worried about when she was putting the lamp together, what everybody was seeing, and rightfully so. And anyone who is watching that and defending that and like trying to say, like, at some point you have to call a spade a spade. I'm sorry for the light. It's from my blinds. I can't fix it. They're enabling her. And that is very, very scary as we have seen this progressively get worse and worse. It appears a lot of people who are, even some of her moderators, if not all of them, are constantly feeding the live chat excuses for the behavior. And at some point, you can't ignore it. If you're not going to be honest about what's actually happening, then you probably should not try to sit there and defend what is going on, because people are not dumb, people are not foolish. But the scary side is there are people who are naive. There are people who don't know because they've never had experience with somebody who has been in addiction and who is actively under the influence. I mean, to be quite honest, a lot of people don't know what it looks like. So when they see that and somebody saying, oh, she's just overly tired, if you really don't know the signs, they may believe that. And that's further concerning for me. Hey, Becky, good to see you. Hey, Just Britt. Yeah, Amy, I've heard that her and a few of her like really hardcore supporters do tend to dox people. They tend to call people's works. They try to retaliate in some kind of way. And that's scary. That's a very scary aspect of trying to bring awareness to something and knowing there's a potential that your information may be leaked or somebody may try to retaliate and come at you in a negative way. It's really scary that that is a possibility and that she's done that. I'm pretty sure there's people who have shown proof that this has happened to them, and that is never, ever, ever, ever okay. She's extremely, yes, Dina, she is extremely aggressive, especially in her live chats. You fail to see the appeal. You don't want to throw money at someone while they're telling you you're stupid. Some of it I think is people honestly being naive. Another part of it that I think, like my theory, is there's people who have watched her from the beginning. They've watched her from the start to now, and they really think that when she's getting mad and getting aggressive, I think they're feeling that she's probably jumping to that emotion over being emotional. You know, because as people, we all kind of manifest our emotions differently. I know personally, when I get upset or very, very, very mad, I don't start screaming, I don't start yelling, I practically shut down and I start to cry, which is a weird response. I know a lot of people have that response as well. So I think some people are thinking that she's getting aggressive because she's so worked up and she's so stressed out about this whole money stuff. The stuff about the money and the taking advantage of her audience is next level. And I did not cover a lot of that in my first video because I really did just want to get a brief overview of my opinions out there and to start the discussion and see how receptive my audience would be to me talking about that. Because to be quite honest, my content typically is either commentary, beauty, or open discussions where we talk about things like substance abuse and we try to build a community around each other. I've never really talked about a content creator and tried to do commentary in the way I kind of am going down with her. And I didn't know how people would be receptive, and I don't want to make a lot of content that you guys wouldn't be receptive to. So I really just did a pretty general feeling out basic information of what I have seen. I have a lot more opinions and theories than what I put in that video. And I may do a couple of more. I wanted to also do this live chat with you guys to see where you guys are at, how you guys feel about it. A lot of people left a lot of concerns and stuff like that in my comment section. And I think in situations like this, how I feel is it's best to feel that your voice is being heard. And in having a live discussion like this, some people do feel that their voice is heard when a creator is acknowledging what they're saying, giving feedback to that comment, and allowing a conversation to be had. Robin, you tagged YouTube and Twitter and they do nothing. It's going to take a lot for a platform to actually intervene. And that is the very unfortunate side of it. And it's kind of like that across any problematic behavior. Large platforms really just let stuff, it's unfortunate, it really is, but they just let stuff go, and then they tend to be reactive and like, oh, let's clean up the mess, let's fix it after the mess happens, rather than, oh, there's all of these concerns, maybe we should look into it and prevent something detrimental from happening on our platform. It's just not built that way. I wish there was a way that we could go around that, so we could have some of the more important people on these platforms at least aware, and hopefully they are, because there's been plenty of people who are talking out about this, who are trying to bring awareness to this. And that's kind of, I understand people say talking about it is more triggering, giving your criticism or your opinion is only going to make the situation worse. I can kind of understand that, but where, at least I can speak for myself, where I'm coming from is not only to bring awareness and to help build any kind of support when she wants it, but it's also to bring awareness to this so it does maybe reach more people. So maybe somebody very important watches one of our videos or sees one of our tweets or one of the TikToks that are going on and get brought into it to pay better attention and maybe to stop it. Hey, Itty Bitty. Hey, Victoria. You've been watching her from the beginning and it's heartbreaking. I've seen a lot of those kind of comments and it's very, very sad. It's a slippery slope. You don't want to give her money, however, if she becomes desperate. But the question I have with the money is, it's so contradictory. One day she is saying, I'm making more than you, you're jealous of me, these people are talking about me because they're jealous of the money that I have. I made such and such amount of money off of YouTube, I got such and such in donations, and the next 20 minutes, 3 hours later, she's saying she has none, but she still manages to get her nails done. I don't know if she gets discounted services or if she knows a technician, but it's details like that that for me are a huge red flag. When you are sitting there saying you have no money, but a day or two ago you were bragging about how much money you have. You're offering a service to people who watch you to pay for, and there are people who have hardcore proof that they never got the reading. I've had people tell me that they requested and paid for a lost loved one reading, and it was more harmful than good. I'm going to be 100% honest. I do not understand tarot at all, so I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today. I do have a couple of fellow creators who do know about tarot, who are open to having conversations with me to help me understand tarot better, to talk about that aspect of it. So I am very simply just stating that people who are experienced have said that some of her readings have been extremely harmful. Her tarot reading, there's been questions around the validity of her tarot reading. And then there's just the flat out fact that she is not giving everybody a tarot reading. And on YouTube, I personally have seen when she started her memberships and she leveled them out and said what each one was for, and that if you have a membership, you can get some free tarot readings. And I've personally witnessed her say, no more membership readings. Well, if they have paid for that and you're not following through with that service of your memberships, by definition, that's scamming. I mean, that it is what it is. Nobody wants to be labeled a scammer. No one wants to be labeled that you're being fraudulent. But if you are equating part of your memberships to having that service and they've already paid for it and you're not following through with it, that is, you're scamming your audience. I mean, that you can't, there's no way around that. There's absolutely no way around that. Hey, Police Wife Life, good to see you. Yeah, people are worried about the donations because clearly she is spending it on something people wouldn't want her to spend it on. I think people forget that YouTubers are actual people, not movie stars. You think that's the main thing with what you wanted to cover. I mean, absolutely go for it if you want, Bambi. Worst that's going to happen is it's not received well. And I mean, that's the risk any creator takes when you're uploading any content, is that people are just not going to see your point. They're going to totally disagree with you, and you may lose a couple of subscribers, or sometimes you may lose a lot of subscribers. I mean, that's the ball game of being a creator. It's scary, but it's true. After you saw Tara agreeing with someone that maybe a spell was put on Ashley, you had to quit watching her. I don't know if I saw that. Hey, Sean, I'm not sure if she's going to be on tonight. I don't watch her that closely. Any word on her? I don't believe so. Thank you, E. Yeah, and I'm not sure if everybody knows like my professional background and why I talk about stuff like this, unless you've been here for a while. But I have worked very closely with people in addiction, in recovery throughout my professions across the board for the last 5.5 years. I'm really far behind in the chat, guys. I'm going to try and get through a little bit quicker. Like way, way far behind. She has said silence is complicity. That's interesting. Andrea, you think she's being held accountable? I mean, I have seen a clip resurface when a year ago in February, where she said she wanted to get clean and she was going to do it on her own, and that she was filming it for accountability purposes. And people are now trying to hold her to that. And because of her addiction, she is clearly not wanting to be honest with her audience now. And I think it frustrates her that people see that, and she doesn't know how to deal with it. Hey, Wookiee Lover. Yeah, the live last night was, I could not imagine, I don't want to put that on to anybody, but I could not imagine how triggering that can be for some. I honestly, I can't imagine. I've had people put in my comment section that it's gotten to a point where they're so concerned for her and they watch because they're concerned, but some are also saying like they can't risk watching because of how her behaviors are. If you've been an addict or you've known a close addict to you, everything that you see that is concerning is behaviors that their loved one or themselves had exhibited. And it is so hard for them to watch someone do this to themselves, especially if it's somebody who has been in recovery and is in recovery. They know how good it can be on the other side. They know how hard it is going to be. They know the trials and tribulations that she's going to be faced with, but they want her to face those while she's healthy enough to do so. That is my interpretation. That is my professional feedback from working with people in this community. it's just so heartbreaking. It really is. Hey, Tutu Queen, it's okay if you're quiet. Nobody can make her be okay. The more you point it out, the more she will deny it. At least that's how it usually seems to go. Exactly. And I think that frustrates a lot of people. I think people feel that because more people are talking about it and bringing attention to it, that maybe it will make her just say, okay, yeah, right, they're right, and throw her hands up and just be like, I just did, and like own her guilt. But if she's in active use, people have got to understand that that is not going to happen. It's just not. I mean, the only people who could answer for their enabling her are people who are actively doing that. And I'm sure some people who do enable her are probably fearful to admit that they know they're enabling her because they fear backlash. Yeah, Andrea, you're right. There's no right or wrong way to get sober. Everybody's journey to sobriety and into recovery and long-term sustained recovery, every story is different. Even if there are similarities and like peaks and valleys, overall, everybody's story is individual. Hey, Beauty Demon. Hey, Jewel Stars. Yeah, you can't stand when people say she is just sleepy and she needs help. I mean, there's just too many behaviors there that are not sleepy behaviors. And congratulations on your sobriety. Anybody who is talking about how long you have been sober, even if it's been an hour, congratulations. It really, seriously, it deserves to be congratulated. That is awesome. It's an amazing feat for people to overcome any kind of addiction. Hey, Paula. Congratulations, Andrea and Janelle. Awesome. You guys really are rock stars. Anytime I hear people's sobriety stories, I mean, I could almost cry every single time because it's just so hard. It really is such a hard thing to do. Hey, Brandy, it's scary to watch and it breaks your heart after seeing some of your family members. Exactly. It is so, it's not just triggering to people who have overcome addiction themselves. It can be extremely triggering to family members of people who have overcome addiction. You think it's a red room at this point? Congratulations, Robin. I would hope that's not the case, Jamie, that people enjoy the entertainment. I mean, if somebody is engaging with that content for those reasons, they need to seek counseling. And I don't mean that to be like offensive, but it's true. If you are getting any kind of enjoyment out of what you see on the screen every time, literally almost every time she is live, there's some kind of behavior. If she's not outwardly aggressive, she's nodding out. I mean, it seems like we get like 3 versions of her from what I have been seeing lately. Is either her actively under the influence, her coming off of being under the influence before she's under the influence again, and that little middle ground where she seems kind of okay and she can somewhat make a cohesive thought. Brandy, she posted videos on TikTok today. Okay. Absolutely. Yes. Congratulations to everybody who are providing some vulnerability of yourselves and saying how long that you have been in recovery. She sure taps into her emotions every day seeking money. I mean, the money seeking aspect is the addiction speaking. Her dry begging and things like that is her addiction crying out. Haywood whispers, yeah, pupil size. When you, for certain professions, you have to learn how to identify not just outwardly emotions and physical appearance. You have to be able to identify things like pupil size. As much as people don't like to talk about it, you have to pay attention to behaviors, picking, scratching, itching, constantly moving. You have to be able to identify certain behaviors like that with certain people who are in use, so you can maybe narrow down what kind of substance is being used. Who is Tara? Tara is, her channel name is Tara Christine Taylor. She has her own YouTube channel. She does a lot of commentary, but she has been talking about this situation for the last couple of weeks. She has changed a lot, Brandy. And people who haven't watched her from the beginning and who are maybe just now being introduced don't really see the drastic change that many other people have seen, which is causing those other people to be so much more concerned. And I think that's why a lot of people who show her content have started in recent weeks to show some of her older content, so people can just be able to visually see the difference and then audibly hear the difference. Because when I have watched some of her older content, you can understand what she's saying. She can have a good conversation in her videos, whereas currently I don't see a lot of that. I see very broken thought. Sometimes I can't even understand what she's trying to say because her speech is so slurred. And I know at times she has tried to put her slurred speech and things that are indicative of being under the influence on other things like her energy drinks, or something like that. And for anyone who falls for that, and I think some people do, because to be honest, out of her following, there has to be a large amount that are just naive. Do I think most of them are? No. Personally, I don't think most of them are naive. I think personally, I feel most of her subscribers and followers know what's going on. Hey, Vera, it's incredibly sad. You've watched several of her videos. You don't understand. I don't really like to talk about other people's mods because they're moderators. To me is a weird position where they're doing volunteer work for the creator and they're not necessarily putting themselves on blast. But at some degree, we have to be able to identify concerns. And with her moderators, I do have concerns in the fact that they are silencing and muting people. And I mean, part of it is because I'm sure they're told to, but when you're deleting that much and you're pushing a narrative that is not there, that is where I have the problem. You confess the only thing you have Yeah, anybody who's in any kind of recovery deserves a massive round of applause. YouTube deletes over nothing. I've seen a lot of people saying that YouTube and like Google bots are infiltrating chats and just randomly deleting stuff. I haven't personally experienced that here on my channel during any of my live chats, but it's been across the board. So I don't know if that's happening. I've heard a couple of creators say that, and I personally haven't experienced it, so I don't know. But I do know at times creators will blame a glitch or blame YouTube for things happening when they really just don't want to be honest and take accountability that they muted somebody or that they hid somebody because they don't want to be targeted for muting an opposing opinion, and they don't want to have people run the narrative that they're creating an echo chamber or something like that, which, I mean, to me, I think that's ridiculous, but that's just my personal opinion on that one. You used to think that she basically worked for free, had to be a lie, seeing everybody she does while at work. The only thing I don't know a whole lot about the job situation with her. And I mentioned that in my video, and I'm pretty sure somebody commented to try to clarify, but I can't remember exactly what they said. But even if she's not making much at work, it doesn't, that's mean. I'm not going to say that. Never mind. Why did she get the apartment if she can't furnish or pay for it? You know, I kind of had the question, Turbo, as she knew this apartment was coming. I didn't understand like why she didn't have some things ready. Maybe she didn't want to have to transport it, but leading up to her getting that apartment, her being in the apartment, what was so mind-blowing to me was her treatment towards her subscribers. You owe me this. You need to buy this. Oh, you don't want to buy this for me? So you think I should just be in the dark? You are a grown woman. If you know you're afraid of the dark, you should have bought a lamp. That's not anybody else's business to have to do for you. That is where I have some really harsh opinions when it comes to her asking for donations, is her behavior going about it as if she is entitled to it. And if you don't provide it, she guilts you and manipulates you. If you don't provide it for me, it is your fault something bad happens to me. I'm sorry, no. Absolutely not. Sorry, I curse occasionally if you're new here. Absolutely not. It is not on your subscribers to furnish your apartment. If people want to be willing to give you things, that's fine. If people want to buy things off of your wish list, whatever. But she sat there and was like, I can't wait for 2 days for you guys to send it through Amazon. She is making people who want to help her send her just the cash. We all know why that is. And if you genuinely want to help her furnish her apartment, then buy something off of a wish list. Don't send her the cash. And that's if you absolutely feel like you have to do that. But she guilts her audience. We as humans all have experienced trauma. She dangles her trauma over her audience's heads. That is sad fishing. That is the definition of sad fishing. It is, whether she is under the influence or not, that is absolutely disgusting behavior by anyone. You are an adult. You may have been dealt a shit hand, but you can make the best of your situation. People are sending you money. Why did you not have some of these very basic items? Why did you make it if they didn't buy you these basic items? Something terrible was going to happen to you. But you can get your nails done and you can buy all those energy drinks. No, your priorities are way out of whack. Way out of whack. And they're out of whack because of the addiction. I'm aware of that. But at some point, you can't continue that behavior. You just can't. Hey Lush, you think she went down since January? Sorry I went on a rant. I tend to do that sometimes if you're new here. You never got blocked. Well, I'm glad some people aren't getting blocked. Hey Sassy Nas. You just hope and pray she gets help and turns her life back around. And that's the thing. She's totally able to. She's just going to have to be ready for it. And there's plenty of people and there's plenty of resources where she is at, whether she claims there are or not. There are plenty of resources where she is at to get assistance. But she banks on the fact that people maybe won't verify, which should people necessarily be verifying the lies that she says? No. It's just her addiction. It's her addiction speaking. When she says the food banks around her don't have food, it's her addiction speaking because she wants the money. Yeah, that was recently, I believe, Jennifer, when she said she was stranded and she couldn't afford a way home from Walmart. Her mods have blocked and banned people saying supportive stuff. Yeah, I've seen that before. Amy, you're a legitimate tarot reader and hers are not legitimate. I've had a couple of people say that. And that's why I haven't wanted to say anything, but I've seen some people question the tarot reading to the lost loved one readings, that the lost loved one readings really falls under being more of a medium than being a tarot card reader. And I don't know the distinction, and I don't want to assume or allege something that I absolutely know nothing about. I will 100% admit when I don't know stuff. I'm not one of the people who are going to sit up here and just, spew whatever because other people are saying it. I often speak from my experience and my knowledge from professional and personal situations around addiction. If you're new here, I've talked about it. I have a lot of professional experience, but I have helped 2 family members overcome addiction in the last 9 years. So I've seen addiction in full swing, and I've seen the upswing, and I've seen the rough path for that. Those stories are not mine to tell, but I was their resource. I was their support, as well as my husband. We both were. You don't understand. You do understand tarot, and she knows nothing. Yeah, a lot of people have said that, and I'm pretty sure this is cycling because I'm behind in the chat. Farah Tarot and Stacy will help you. I've had a couple of, like I said, I have a couple of other creators who have reached out to me when I started to when I made my video and I mentioned I didn't know much about tarot, reach out to me and say that they'd be willing to explain it to me. And I intend to take them up on that offer. It's something that is extremely intriguing to me. You're an adult using your son's YouTube. I'm blocked from her TikTok just in case. Oh, I don't pay close enough attention to people's avatars and stuff. But you bring up a valid point, even though I don't think you were meaning to, is TikTok is widely known as a child's app. I know it's becoming more and more common and normalized, I hate that word, for adults to use it and adult creators to be on there and stuff like that. However, it is largely known to be an app that teenagers and children underage use. Could you imagine a child coming across her content? And I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure she has young people following her. But could you imagine them seeing that kind of behavior? They can't comprehend it. That is so scary to me. Some of her mods have started their own tarot content. Interesting. I just lost my spot in the chat. So if I happen to miss what you were saying, I apologize. I'm going to try and find where I was, but oftentimes when this happens, and we have a larger chat, I can't always find where I was at. She wants money now. If you give her a super chat or whatever on YouTube, she's not grateful. Yeah, because you don't get it right away, and YouTube takes a 30% cut of all super chats. And I saw in one of the live streams that I was in, I can't remember what app it was, but there were people in the comments saying that they were getting a warning when they were trying to send her money, as it was being like an extra step that's the app, whatever Cash App it was, popped up. Are you sure you want to send this and it's not a scam or something to those lines? And herself and her mods got very defensive, saying that that wasn't something that was possible to be said. And then like 20-30 minutes later, that could be an exaggeration. A little while later, another person said that they were trying to send money, if they should just avoid, like, click OK on that warning. And Ashley acknowledged it and said, yes, sometimes that happens. Just click OK and send it anyways. So it's like, okay, well, which one is it then? Do you know that that is popping up? And that should be a red flag to anybody sending her money, that that is happening. I also find it, the fact that she is willing to give people her phone number to receive Apple Pay is dangerous for everyone. It's dangerous for whoever she's sending the money to, because she has their contact information, and it's dangerous for herself as somebody who does have a platform. Her privacy deserves to be protected, and she is doing nothing to protect her privacy. She has unintentionally given her location away several times, and then she cries that anybody who talks about her is a troll. And as adults, we all should understand what a troll is. Just because somebody disagrees with you and is pointing out some of your bad behavior does not make them a troll. Brandy, that was in a lot of my comment sections, that people have seen or have even lost very close loved ones, even parents saying that they've lost their children to this addiction. And that is the very sad reality of addiction, is if you can't get out of it, it happens. And that's what people are so scared of. Hey, Peyton. I'm not sure who Karen is. I'm sure there's more than one person who is actually in touch with her and who probably talks to her. Congratulations on your sobriety, Andrea. Yeah, people, and there's no reason for people, because if you watch something, and this is my opinion and it may not be a popular one, but if you're watching something and it's triggering you, or it's making you feel a certain kind of way, you're getting frustrated, you're getting mad, to the point that you want to leave and say very hateful, harmful things, be an adult and stop watching it. Don't let it get to you that bad. All we can do is spread awareness, try and be there as supportive people in ways that you think are healthy for you, and be there when she needs it. But if it is bothering you that bad, if it is making you want to say something disgusting, that you're hoping it overcomes her, or you're waiting until the day that you get on and there's no post from her, you need help. You seriously need help. You need to go talk to somebody. Something is wrong. You need to work out those emotions. Something is clearly not properly coping with what you're seeing. And you shouldn't continue to put yourself in the position to be frustrated, to be overwhelmed, to feel triggered. And you need to check out of the situation and wait until you have dealt with your own stuff. And then if you have to, come back then. You think what frustrates people more is her saying she's clean. I mean, she's just in active denial. And from the behavior we've seen, she's very heavily into it right now. And until she is ready to acknowledge that, she's not. But you also have to understand she has been doing nothing but like preaching that she's been clean for so long. She knows that some of her followers, and this is the truth, some of her followers who maybe are naive or just hope that this is an act, believe that maybe she's clean. And when she says that, she is running the risk of losing a lot of people, and she relies on those people. Yeah, I don't understand why the mods delete supportive messages and positive messages. That just doesn't make sense to me. Hey, Liz. Yeah, if you don't know who I'm talking about, Sassy, I would not encourage you to go down any kind of path to identify who it is. You saw her trying to play off her nodding to be overtired. I mean, she's done that a few times. You begged in her comments last night for people not to send money, gift cards only. And someone sent her $250. I would poop my pants if somebody donated $250. That's a lot of money. That is some people's like multiple bills paid. That's like their utilities covered. That is insane. In your opinion, she is struggling with something, bringing attention to it is okay as long as your intentions are good. Absolutely, Crystal. I agree with that. And I've identified and mentioned that I do think some content creators on TikTok that I come across because I'm watching people who talk about her and who give their criticism of her. I've seen some that, in my opinion, are in poor taste and probably don't have the best motive. I'm not saying all of them. I think most of them that I do see and that I do kind of follow at this point are recovering addicts themselves. And for me, it's important. I can come from it from a professional standpoint and from somebody having a family member go through it, but I still don't have the perception of an actual addict because I personally have never been addicted to anything other than cigarettes. And when we're talking about substances like this, cigarettes is no comparison. And I am aware of that. So I try to get their perception and what they see so I can have a very good, well-rounded conversation. Yeah, she calls anybody who calls her out or makes coverage about her a troll. And it's her prerogative. It's just not factual. The problem when you are falsely calling people trolls is when you have a large following, which she does, but when you have a large following, calling someone else a troll can inadvertently be telling them to go defend them and to maybe send them hate. That's the weird part about YouTube and TikTok and having internet creators is when you have people who are so steadfast to support you and defend you because you are always saying how under siege you are, they are going to go and seek out these people. And if you claim that they're a troll, which means that they have malicious intent and they're just there to be an annoyance, these people aren't even going to listen to what whoever you're calling a troll are. They're not even going to be willing to hear them out. They are just going to go there and say nasty and vile things to defend the one that they care for. And this isn't just about Ashley. I mean, this is across any kind of platform. It is what it is. When a creator says, oh, so-and-so on this platform is a troll, their hardcore supporters are likely to go seek that person out and just inundate them with backlash or hate or abusive content. I mean, it's true. It sucks. It's part of being a creator that you have to be prepared to deal with. And I had to come to terms with that before I even made my video, that I knew that was a potential. And I took the risk. And, you know, if it happens, I'm an adult and I can just block and delete the disgusting stuff. But people who disagree with me and are expressing themselves and why they disagree with me, I'm totally fine with that. I want everybody to feel that they can talk about things, just like I've talked about other creators and their problematic behavior. I'm always open to hear where they're coming from, why they have the thought process that they do. They shouldn't be silenced either. But I'm not going to have people saying really hurtful, disgusting, like way over the top things. Yeah, I don't stand for that. There's a line. You're bleaching your hair, Leslie. There could be services. Yeah, she has to want it. She has to be able to follow through. And if she doesn't, then, and to be honest, she probably doesn't want the resources. And depending on what kind of resources she's trying to get, if it's ran by her city or her county, there are sometimes roadblocks that you have to be able to overcome to receive some of the services. You have to be okay with getting help because you're probably going to need at least therapy to be successful. I agree with that. She has new people coming in and don't know anything about her. That's the reality of it, is there's new people constantly who are just picking up on little bits and pieces. Her mods say she's an adult, we're not her boss. She is an adult, and I mean, they're right, they're not her boss, but if you have any kind of like real world conversation, or there's trust there that you guys are having like personal conversations and private conversations, people should be able to tell her concerns. When they do that, though, they are risking her kicking them out of being a part of her content. And for some people, and this is often with families that I know professionally, is they enable the addict because they're afraid if they're not there when stuff goes down real bad, that no one will be. And so they enable the behavior. Some people have limits, some people don't, but they enable it because, and they know that they're enabling it, but they do it because they fear if they're not there, no one will be. And it's a heavy guilt, and it's hard to be a family member or a friend and be in that position to make those very hard choices, to know that you have to walk away, know that you have to address it, and watch from a distance if you can. Stephanie, that's amazing that you talked to her and you offered her resources. I'm sorry you got called names, and that's where like the maturity isn't there, and it's more denial and more defense because she doesn't want to be open about it. One lady sent her money under a reading for goods and services because it's a business, and she got yelled at because she doesn't have it set. Well, that's another aspect of it, is she tends to, if she doesn't get it the way that she, like the donations, the way that she wants the donations, she attacks you. Well, I don't want to use the word attack because that word is thrown around a lot. But she targets you. She really does. She points you out in the chat. She gets on to you for doing a good deed, or at least what you are trying to do, a good deed. And you end up feeling bad that you didn't do it the way that she wanted to. And that just should not be the case. It should not be the case. Yeah, Jessica, someone else said that, or was that something different? Someone said earlier she got a donation of 250. So was there 250 and a 225, or just one of a crazy? That's a crazy amount of money. And was it, so my question then comes, because I haven't watched the live from last night. Did somebody send her that amount of money through PayPal and then she announced how much money she received in that donation? Because why is she doing that? Like, why is she airing out that people are sending her that much money? That would not be good behavior for anyone. I don't know. That makes me feel weird. If it was sent in like a Cash App or PayPal, saying how much she's getting in those apps, why air that out? Hey, Dottie, good to see you. Why air that out? Yeah, Crystal, unfortunately, in today's world, substance use is so widespread that it is likely, whether you know it or not, somebody you know probably is or has had some kind of touch with it. Hey, Sheila, you sent her a private message. She may not get it. Hey, Jersey Jojo. I'm trying to skim the chat because I know I'm way behind. Money seeking is driven by, yeah, it is. Seeking money, and like the behaviors that we see and her aggression that we see is very much fueled by the addiction. Sherry, there's people who talk about what they assume she's under the influence of. I'm not going to speculate because it really doesn't matter, to be honest with you guys. And in my opinion, it doesn't matter to label what substance we think she's using. Hey, good aunt, the good aunt. Tara is awesome. I really enjoy Tara. She is very sweet. Hey, Hoot3, good to see you. You think her mods are ridiculous and enabling. A lot of people feel that way and have voiced that this evening. Congratulations to your son, Hoot3, and everyone else, like I have said, who have talked about people being in recovery, or if you yourself are in recovery. There's been a huge change in the past month. She used to do at least, I've noticed that too. Lush is, she was, although this concern of what's actually happening has been a concern for a long while, it seems to have very quickly escalated very high to the point that the last couple of things that I have seen of hers, I haven't seen any readings, but she's advertising them in the sense that she'll say, oh, I'm still doing readings tonight. I'm still doing readings tonight. Halfway, in my opinion, halfway cohesive. Like you can't really understand her thought. It's very choppy. And in addition to just that concern, she says it and then she doesn't follow through with it. And I have seen at times people in the chat saying, clearly she's not doing readings tonight because of the state they see her in and the fact that she's really not paying attention to the live chat. She's paying attention to setting her apartment up and whatever else is going on. It's a very interesting way to run your business. Jessica, if she's getting doxxed and bullied so bad that she needs quote unquote protection, then maybe she shouldn't be live 3 to 5 times a day. I don't know about the protection stuff. Maybe I'm missing something there. Her whole day is practically a stream at this point. I feel like, and it's kind of been like that lately. Which, if that's how she wants to do her content, I mean, no, I say it's nobody's place to judge, but with the behaviors and what's going on, it's kind of hard not to say she shouldn't be. I'm not one to say stuff like that. ever, but I really am, she is like the one content creator that I have come across that I really don't think should be on social media. You've had Google bots delete your comments. Interesting, Jojo. That's interesting, Jessica. There's some of her behaviors that I don't know about. I'm being completely honest with you guys. I don't know the full ins and outs of everything, as several other people do. It's terrifying and sad that people know the condition she is in and where she is. Yeah. Yes, boss lady, I can see you. She did reach out, but to tell me you're a liar. I'm sorry, Stephanie. I'm really sorry. Like, I don't know how I want to verbalize this. When you have a platform, there's a level of respect that I think should be shared everywhere. I've had people DM me and email me pretty awful things before. And as an adult, I just choose to delete and not address. Some of the ones are just harsh criticism. And to those, I formulate a professional, respectful return email. Why is it? I don't understand why people are okay and even excuse being treated terribly by a creator. That should not be happening. And if she didn't agree with you or anyone else who has contacted her because they say they have a concern or they're offering her resources, she can simply just not reply or just say thank you. There's no reason to call other people, to call subscribers and potentially paying members disgusting names. And I mean, we see her do that in her live streams. She will actively have a temper tantrum, actively call people in her chat, people who have donated her money, disgusting, terrible names. And then when people want her to address the fact that they have observed her to act out in this way, there's some kind of ridiculous excuse for that behavior to have had happen. If you are to the point where you cannot even politely or make an adult decision to not engage with somebody, don't allow people to contact you. Like, don't have a way for people to send you messages then, because it's only going to make you look kind of bad. And you are, in my opinion, if a creator is engaging in that kind of behavior, you are eventually going to ceiling out. You are going to hit a ceiling point and you're not going to grow any farther because people are going to do exposed videos actually showing legitimate receipts to these behaviors, rather than it can just be like a video where, like I did my first video where we're just talking about it, or even like this live stream. People will put together receipt videos where they're giving their commentary and actually showing receipts. And I actually would be open to maybe filming a video like that if this behavior continues to go on and if people continue to get treated poorly, which I don't see a change happening anytime soon. She insisted on a certain kind of micro. Like, why be picky and choosy about what kind of lamp you get, what kind of microwave you get, what kind of sheets you get. Why be picky about stuff like that? Like, if you were really struggling that bad, you wouldn't be picky. You wouldn't be picky. Everybody can see your comments, boss lady. I'm not sure why you feel your comments aren't being seen. Hey, Barbara. She's complaining that she can't wait for things to be delivered. Yeah, I talked about that earlier. It's because she wants the money donations. Hey, Misty Justice. Hey, Selfie Queen Cindy. Hey, Georgette. It wouldn't surprise you if witches are coming together and out a showing true intention spell. And that's where I don't even know what that is. I can't even I don't mean to be rude. That's purely my ignorance. I don't know what any of that means. Misty, she won't get a single cent from you. Yeah, Jessica, someone has left a comment on where I can go to kind of look about the job stuff and there being money missing and stuff like that. Hey, Anna, thank you for being a part of the community here. The people that verify her lies get blocked. I mean, that's kind of a thing, though. Like, it gets to a point where you have to make that judgment call if you want to pose conversations like this. You kind of know that you're going to get blocked, and potentially you're going to get called a troll. Potentially your information may get leaked. Potentially you may start to get harassed and bullied. I mean, those are judgment calls that when you're making content around someone who does that kind of stuff, you have to be able to decipher if it's worth it to you. You can't scare everybody. Like, that's the thing. It's not everybody is going to be scared of having people come at them, having people say that you're a troll or you're a liar or whatever. If you're new here, I kind of don't care. I'm honest. I'm transparent with my audience. I like to have good, healthy conversations. I like to call out poor behaviors by creators. I like to bring attention to things like that. And I know that getting into commentary like this is likely to bite me in the ass at some point, being that I'm going to piss somebody off and they're probably going to try and find that information out. I have nothing to hide. I've said that before. You're probably not, I've never been arrested. So, there's not much there for people to hold over my head. She always says no one knows what it is to struggle and need things. Yeah, she often said, like, and that's just her manipulating and guilt tripping people. But the reality is the majority of the people who watch her do know exactly what struggle is, and may even struggle more so because they're not getting on a platform and scamming and begging people to furnish their every ridiculous need. She doesn't cleanse her deck and has no clue what the cards truly mean. If you ask for help on her live, you'll get muted and blocked because she doesn't want anyone else to receive help. She wants to be the center of attention. She wants to be the one that everybody feels bad for, that everybody feels that they need to support. She called a troll for bringing up your brother's OD. I'm sorry, Tara. I hope you're grieving well. I hope anybody who has lost someone due to what is going on. I really hope you guys are grieving well. And I offer this in my open discussions, and this would probably be a good conversation to have here. If you're in the United States and you are struggling at all, if you dial *211 from your cell phone or from a landline, it will bring you to United Way, which is across the US, and they're just a resource hub that will further provide you resources for your area. And it may take a day or two, but you can dwindle down where to go for help. If you are comfortable reaching out to me in a DM or an email, which are always linked in my description box, feel free to. I will ask you general location areas to help further find resources for you and whatever you're needing. But I always offer that in my open discussions. I'm going to offer it here too in case anyone is struggling with anything and you feel you need assistance. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to ask you more than what you want to tell me. But everybody deserves somewhere to go to get assistance for anything. She's just reading the cards. You know, I don't think I have ever actually, like in real life, I've never seen a real tarot card deck. Her meltdown about the negative balance on PayPal. Yeah, it is also her. Yeah, it is. It's definitely what's being shown through that. And my chat just kind of jumped. So if I missed one of your comments, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back and try and find where I was. But like I said earlier, sometimes I can't. I'm really far behind. I thought I was doing better, but I'm not. Veronica, what is a troll? A troll is somebody, I mean, I don't know the actual definition, but what is widely known as a troll is somebody who goes around maliciously trying to entice arguing, trying to stir the pot, intentionally and maliciously being mean, being annoying, like outwardly unwarranted behavior. You were called a troll for asking if she was okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry anyone has experienced any kind of treatment like that in any kind of chat. It really, that kind of stuff really bothers me. Catherine, yeah. I don't know if many people have talked about this. When law enforcement has shown up, I feel like some people get frustrated that law enforcement or whoever will show up or has shown up in the past. And I think they get frustrated when nothing is done. To be quite honest, law enforcement hands and EMS hands are going to be tied unless she is actively, like literally actively unconscious. They are not going to be able to do anything unless law enforcement sees something laying in plain sight. They're not going to be able to do anything. It's very frustrating situations, and I understand the frustration there. I really do, but unfortunately, they're not going to be able to do anything. Their hands are very much tied in situations like that. Hey, Catherine. You've gotten attacked for trying to care and tell the truth. And that's the thing, like people go, I feel like some people go into her chat with good intentions to maybe warn and bring awareness to maybe the naive people or people who are just seeming to not notice what is actually going on. And they don't want that narrative in the chat. So they're going to hide it. They're going to block it. They're going to call you a troll. So those people who maybe did see it don't start looking elsewhere for what you maybe said. It's hard sometimes. I think you're right, Anna. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. Sometimes it's hard to remember that it's her addiction talking. I think a lot of people struggle with that at times, to really be able to take a step back and understand it's not her. When you're seeing all which way and the other, oftentimes it is the addiction. The moderators in her lives call it, yeah. Mighty Mike, a lot of people are genuinely concerned. I'm one of those people who are genuinely concerned. I couldn't either, good Ann. I really couldn't either. Yeah, I talked about that earlier, Lush, that people get mad that she brags about making 4K a month between her social media, but doesn't give the readings and is constantly asking her followers and guilting her followers into giving her more money. Last night scared a lot of people. It really did, and rightfully so. I mean, rightfully so. I didn't know that that was going on, Barbara. I didn't know people were encouraging her to get defensive things to further defend herself. That's not, I don't know how I feel about that. She curses people out. Yeah, I've seen that. She can get very verbally gross, in my opinion. Hey, Eileen. Yeah, I didn't see the full live, so I see a lot in tonight's chat people talking about somebody showing up in her window, and I don't know anything about that. That's why I'm not mentioning it, because I haven't seen that part. You have a question, why are people complaining about not getting the readings they pay for? Why are they paying for readings from a person who is obviously under the influence? I mean, asking the question why they're paying is a good question to ask. I wonder if some of the people coming in who just see that she's a tarot card reader are maybe just coming to her TikTok or her YouTube and don't know of this concerning behavior. And so they just send the money hoping to get a reading. I don't know if some people are returning people who are paying for a reading who are aware of these things and just want a reading that bad. I don't know how expensive readings run. I don't know if she is mid-tier for her services or if maybe they're cheaper and that's why people, I honestly, I don't know. This is where my ignorance around tarot come in. I need to talk to some people who know about tarot to actually have a better open conversation around that particular aspect of people worried about her being a scam artist when it comes to the tarot stuff. So if you guys want me to, I will definitely talk to those people and get more information about it. And if you are a reader and you want to reach out to me, like I said, my email and my Twitter are down below. It may take me a day or two to get back to you, but I will respond. Because I really am ignorant when it comes to tarot. Oh, Beauty Demon, I hope you're okay. I've heard oftentimes with the second shot, people are feeling really lethargic and some people are actually getting sick because of it. So I hope you are able to come out of it. Don't worry about hanging out if you don't feel well. She calls people stupid. Yeah, she calls people worse words than stupid. She says very offensive, derogatory terms to people, and then she'll justify the reason she said it because of diagnoses that she has, which I don't want to go down that path because I'm likely to get super mad about it. She'll put you in timeout. I didn't even know you could time out on social media. Yeah, there's like you can put people in timeout for like 300 seconds or something like that. It's like a warning before you hide somebody from your channel. Hey, Michelle. Your question is, how is she going to pay? I think that's a lot of people's questions, is how she intends to pay for the rent. And a lot of people are kind of trying to say now that don't be surprised if when rent comes due that it's something she pushes onto her followers. She got the money. She said she had enough for Walmart trip and she shut down reading. She shut readings down and ran to the store. Well, she also told her, well, that's interesting. And that's another thing. E's question is, what is she saying all this money is being used for? And that's kind of where most people are flabbergasted that people still will donate to her, because she gets sent all of this donation money. She's also being paid. I understand it's monthly, but she's still being paid for her social medias. And she is still saying that she doesn't have money. So people are just making the assumption of where the money is probably going. I also am one to kind of think that she always has some money, and she just her constant way of getting more and more money is to continue this pattern, because she knows people will send her money. I'm kind of on the fence on if she ever actually doesn't have anything. I know she claims that she doesn't have anything, but for me, even if she is, which by her behavior she's actively using, I still don't think that it's to the where she has none of this because of how much she says that she makes. She went to Walmart 12 times last week. That's a lot of times. She said her Uber ride to Walmart and back is $90. Hey, Tiny Dancer, I don't know how. I've been in an Uber before, and I'm pretty sure rates vary on like your location and stuff. I've never been in an Uber that expensive before. Her defensiveness is also a sign. I agree. Yeah, I'm sorry for anyone who's been hurt by some of her comments and just temper tantrums that she throws. Thank you, Tiny Dancer, for the compliments. Her nails are more of a hazard to her health than renting a carpet cleaner. I don't understand the nails constantly being done if she doesn't have money. Unless maybe she knows a nail tech who does her nails for her. So is the actual thing we can help her seriously. I mean, the best thing that, in my opinion, that we can do is we can just be here, emotionally support her. And when she is ready and she acknowledges that what she is struggling with and what she's going through, to everybody band together and give her the resources to assist her in getting where she wants to go. Because honestly, half of the battle is her identifying that she is in active use and that she wants to start her sobriety journey. That's just the first half. The next half comes, how does she want to go about her sobriety? How does she want to start getting into recovery? It can't be forced upon her. It has to be a decision she's willing to make. So we have to be ready to arm her with that defense system to help her get there. Right now, honestly, there is not a whole lot we can do except for continue to talk about it, make sure people are aware who maybe don't know what addiction looks like, to know that, yes, this is addiction. Be mindful of how you're supporting her financially. I'm not saying if you want to donate to her, not to donate. I'm just saying donate in a different way other than monetarily. Because if you're monetarily, and I mean like sending her cash donations, because when you're doing that, you really don't know what she's doing with the money. And to be quite honest, we can take her for her word on how much she is making, but we don't know. We actually don't know how much money she has in her bank account. That's the reality of it, is we don't know. And she could be to where she doesn't have anything and she really does need it. But that's when you can send her things through Amazon. You can send her stuff from her wish lists. You can send her gift cards to Walmart so she can spend it at specific stores and not be given the actual money. That is the only way that really we can help her right now that I see. I'm sure people have other opinions and other choices, and I'd say hear them all out. Hey, sweet tea and family, how are you? Yeah, she berates and belittles. She does that a lot. I'm not getting paid for this right now, 6 cents. Just so you know, it's live. There's no AdSense on live. I haven't received any donations or super chats. So I'm not getting paid until this is up on the reload. But it's my prerogative. I think it's important to bring awareness to answer your question. And it can bring her help when she's ready for it, to know that people are here and are ready to support her and help her to resources. Why'd she show her lease agreement, Courtney? You think she realized the more live streams she does, the more money she gets? Well, I mean, when she's live streaming, whether she's getting donations or she's having people purchase readings, like people want to have the reading, so she kind of has to be live. She has been on, yeah, I think a lot of people have picked up on that too, Barbara. I haven't seen any comments bashing. I said earlier, I don't think the social media platforms are going to do anything until they have to. And people can at them as much as they want and hope that maybe that gets their attention. But unfortunately, we have seen this with other behaviors on this platform that are also dangerous in different scenarios than substance use. We've seen them kind of not do anything, even when law enforcement and like charges are pending, them not do anything until the very last minute. So I would imagine it's kind of going to be a similar situation with this. It's more of a reactionary, like let's do damage control rather than let's prevent. Yeah, there's not any 6 cents. You're welcome to be here and provide your commentary, but do not start calling me or anyone else names. That will get you kicked from my channel. I know I'm behind in the chat, but that's not okay. I didn't know, Kristen, I didn't know that there was a door stopper thing, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. All right. Lexi, I don't mind you providing your opinion, but let's be a little bit more respectful in how we put it out. This is the only bad thing about being behind in the chat, is when stuff like this happens and I'm super far behind. All right, 6 cents. I don't know if you're still here, but you're being removed. You're not going to call me sick or anything for bringing awareness about an issue. I'm not okay with that. Sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm just trying to make sure that everything's good in the chat and catch up because apparently some stuff is her cats made you sad last night. I mean, I've seen clips of her cats and they appear like physically they appear to be healthy from what I have seen of them, but I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff around her cats and I haven't seen the lives from last night. So I'm sorry if you're concerned. Maybe it's something that people should just start trying to pay better attention to, is to making sure that the cats are in a healthy condition. I mean, you can only tell so much when you're seeing them through a camera lens, though. Not every reader believes you need to cleanse your deck, especially if you're not the one using it. Jennifer, I said earlier, and I know people are coming and going from the chat, I don't know anything about tarot. That's why I'm not really discussing verbatim stuff about tarot, because I don't know it. Zara, Zombie, people said that she did post stuff on TikTok today. She said she needed everyone to keep getting readings to pay her rent. I mean, if readings is the way she's getting the majority of her money, then she's going to always promote people to getting the readings to pay any of her bills, whether that's her rent or her phone bill or anything like that. It's always going to be something that she has to pay, and that's why she needs readings, because that's why she has the business, right? If her followers drop, then no money from TikTok or YouTube. Is that correct? I don't know TikTok's pay program. I have no idea how TikTok operates at all. As far as YouTube goes, once you're a part of the partner program, I don't know if you drop below 1,000 that it gets taken from you. I'm not sure how that works. So I don't know. And I am totally in the dark when it comes to TikTok. A $90 Uber ride from Walmart. That's ironic. Kind of. She doesn't do long readings at all. She's on Snapchat also. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she's on every platform. When you start to build a social media presence, it gets to a point where you almost have to have all platforms to make sure you can reach anybody in any kind of audience. Tina asks, you've seen one of her old TikTok videos and she says that Matt program doesn't work for her. What are your thoughts on Matt? My personal and professional thoughts on Matt are that it's individualized. I have seen it be super successful for people, and I have seen it not be successful for people. It's kind of one of those things that recovery and getting into recovery and starting your journey towards sobriety is different for everyone, and everyone's going to react to different methods differently. Matt may be perfect for some people, but for others, it's not going to work at all. It's very individualized. The housing program she is in has resources. She was offered, but doesn't need. I mean, if she's in any kind of resource housing, which I honestly don't know if she's talked about how she got her housing, if it's through resources, you're often linked towards other resources that you may need. Yeah, Amy, if you could email me or DM me on Twitter, because I am open to learning more about tarot so I can actually have that part of the conversation, because right now I know it is a lot of what you guys are talking about in the chat, and I really can't participate because I don't want to say a comment and it be totally wrong and accidentally misinform people because I don't know any different. As an you think gift cards are still you bring a very good point, Melody, that some people, depending on how they are, they will take e-gift cards and switch them out for cash. That's an aspect that I didn't think of, and I don't think a lot of people are probably even identifying. She turned down all the offers to pick up things if people ordered it at the store ahead of time. Why? That doesn't make any sense. And a percentage of readings most tarot readers donate to an organization or other cause. Interesting. She's live right now. I mean, I'm not surprised that she's live right now. It's the evening time. Isn't this when she typically goes live? I wasn't intending on being live this long. I'm probably only going to hang out a little bit longer, and then I'm going to hop off of here. Natalia, you were just going to, yeah. I mean, she has the right to be live like I do. Do they really, Paulette? I shouldn't be surprised about that, actually. Two of the cats were fighting. You could hear them growling and banging off the door at times. I mean, I'm not going to, I haven't heard it, so I really don't want to put too much judgment out there and make assumptions out there. But when you have pets, they're going to get into squabbles and stuff like that. I often find when people are really honed in on like trying to call out all the bad, sometimes things are made out of nothing. And I'm not trying to say that that's what's going on with the cat stuff. I just have seen that happen sometimes where people are so concerned about one thing that they start to pick apart everything. If you have multiple cats in your house, it's likely at times that they may get into a little tough. I've always had multiple dogs, and they disagree sometimes, or one crosses a boundary and they kind of go at each other, not aggressively, but it sounds aggressive. So I'm not going to just assume that something's going on there. If it's something that people are concerned about, maybe just try to pay better attention. I know I will probably pay better attention to the animals now that people are saying they may have a concern for them. But I hadn't noticed anything before. And from what it seems like, the little fight that happened maybe was last night, and I haven't seen that live stream. Made it super clear that it was just about getting cash out. You have a screenshot of one of the guys is an Uber Lyft driver. Okay. Tina, you've been on MAP for 3 years and believed it saved your life. I agree with you. It's definitely individual. Yeah, and congratulations that has helped you. That's awesome. I know of people it's helped and people that it didn't help and actually had the reverse effect. I've known it to go both ways. So I support people who want to try it, and because there are clearly people who are successful on that. So I'm not a professional who's like, oh no, don't try it, don't do it. Absolutely not. If you have tried other if you've tried other forms of recovery and they haven't been helpful, and you're on substances that MAC can assist with, I would encourage people to try it if you haven't been able to on others. Paulette, you can. That's what I'm saying. There are people that MAC does not help. MAT is medically assisted treatment. It's to help people get off of certain substances. Good night, Kelly. Yeah, I'm gonna end up getting off here in just a couple of minutes. I really do appreciate everybody who has been here and has had the conversation and kind of provided me some of your concerns. I am open to maybe doing a follow-up, maybe more in-depth video if that's something you guys would be interested in. It may take me a little while to get that together, but I would want to talk to some people in the tarot community, and I would start looking for some more receipts. I don't do a lot of receipt videos, but I think it would be beneficial with some of the criticism that I have received in my first video, which no hate towards. I appreciate any kind of criticism, but I think it would help make some of my points and have some of the conversations. Some is short term, and for me, it's long term. Yeah, it depends on what you need it for and how your doctor is overseeing your treatment plan. Yeah, Amy, you can message me. I think my Instagram is like Manda Pants Does Life. If you search that, you should be able to find me. Kristen, I'm glad you thought this was a good conversation. I did too. I'm honestly shocked we didn't get, I kind of thought that maybe we would have more people pushing back than what we did. So I'm happy this has been a pretty productive and not too like crazy off the wall conversation. I feel like it's been pretty healthy and on point. But I do appreciate everybody. I appreciate all the aspects that you guys had brought to my attention. And if you guys have any feedback on if I do a follow-up, just reach out to me. If you don't want to leave it in a comment section, I understand that. Feel free to reach out to me in DMs and we'll kind of move from there. But I am going to head off of here for this evening. Time kind of got away from me and I didn't anticipate to be here this long, but I hope everybody has a good day, evening, or night, wherever you guys are. And until next time, bye guys.